Imagine a city, a jewel of an empire that stood for over 1,000 years. Its walls legendary, a shield against countless foes. This is Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire. But on the morning of May 29, 1453, this ancient bastion faced its final dawn. A day that would not just see a city fall, but an entire world order crumble. For weeks, the air had been thick with the dust of battle and the roar of cannons. The defenders, a mix of Byzantines and their Genoese allies, had held the line with breathtaking courage. They were vastly outnumbered, but their spirit and their magnificent walls seemed unbreakable. They had repaired breaches, repelled assaults, and kept the crescent banner of the Ottoman Empire at bay. But this was no ordinary siege, and Sultan Mehmed II was no ordinary conqueror. He was a young, brilliant, and utterly determined leader. He had assembled an army of unprecedented size and, most terrifyingly, he had cannons. Not just any cannons, but massive bombards, the superweapons of their day. One in particular, the basilic, was a monster of bronze, capable of hurling stone balls weighing over half a ton. For 53 days, these giants hammered away at the Theodosian walls, the triple-layered defense that had protected the city for a millennium. Every strike was a tremor that shook the very soul of Constantinople. Inside the city, fear mingled with faith. Emperor Constantine Once Palaiologos, the last of the Roman emperors, refused to flee. He chose to stand with his people, to fight and die for the city that bore his name. On the final night, as the Ottoman cannons fell silent, a solemn and eerie quiet descended. Citizens and soldiers gathered in the Hagia Sophia, the grandest church in all of Christendom. Orthodox and Catholic, Greek and Latin, they put aside their differences to pray together one last time. It was a moment of profound unity in the face of annihilation. They knew what was coming. The Sultan had offered terms of surrender, which Constantine had bravely refused. Now, only a miracle could save them. As the first light of dawn streaked across the sky on May 29th, the silence was shattered. An all-out assault began. Waves of Ottoman soldiers, tens of thousands strong, crashed against the weakened walls. The first waves, the irregular Boschibus Auks, were sent to exhaust the defenders. Then came the disciplined Anatolian troops. The fighting was brutal. Hand to hand, a desperate struggle for every inch of stone. For hours, the defenders held. They fought with a ferocity born of desperation, pushing back ladders, pouring boiling oil, and meeting steel with steel. Emperor Constantine himself was on the front lines, a beacon of courage, fighting alongside his men. But then, a small gate, the Kirka Porta, was left unbolted. A small group of Ottoman soldiers slipped through and raised their flag on a tower. At the same time, the cannons finally created a massive, irreparable breach in the main wall. The elite Janissaries, the Sultan's personal guard, poured into the city. Panic spread like wildfire. The cry went up, "The city is taken." The defense collapsed into chaos. The Genoese commander, Giovanni Giustiniani, was gravely wounded, and his withdrawal demoralized his troops. The defenders were overwhelmed. What followed was the tragic, brutal sacking of a great city. For 3 days, the conquering army plundered Constantinople. Priceless treasures were lost, ancient libraries were burned, and the city's inhabitants suffered terribly. The great Hagia Sophia, which had just hosted that final unified prayer, was converted into a mosque. Emperor Constantine XI was last seen throwing off his imperial insignia and charging into the fray, disappearing into the sea of battle. He died as he had lived, a Roman emperor defending his city to the last breath. His body was never definitively identified. The fall of Constantinople was more than just a military victory. It was a seismic event that sent shockwaves across the world. The Byzantine Empire, the last remnant of the Roman Empire, was no more. The main trade route from Europe to Asia was now under Ottoman control, forcing European powers to seek new sea routes, which in turn fueled the Age of Discovery. Scholars fleeing the city brought with them a wealth of classical Greek knowledge to Italy, helping to ignite the Renaissance. The city itself did not die. Mehmed the Conqueror, now Fatih Sultan Mehmed, immediately began to rebuild it. He repopulated it, made it his new capital, and transformed it into the magnificent city of Istanbul, a bridge between East and West. But on that one morning in 1453, an era ended. The world changed forever as the walls that had guarded an ancient civilization for 1,000 years finally came tumbling down. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more dives into history's most pivotal moments.